I realized that feeling like I was being treated shitty made me also spend so much time valuing myself. And I'm back home, as you guys can see, because of a certain situation right now. And it just like, even the most simplest of moments where I get triggered or I like reflect on my own responses to certain situations, how I'm holding myself back from honestly loving myself more. So, I have like this not so great history with food. And it's also like when I'm not fed, I'm very sensitive. I'm a Leo rising. I also am a Scorpio sun. And I know that that might just be random words to some. It's just very intense when it comes to like how I am with food and how I nourish myself. And it was just like all these realizations of how I grew up to believe that looking a certain way is better, more likable, more accepted, more okay. And I don't know, it's just interesting because I was just talking to my sister about it where I just got triggered because I was hungry and then I kind of snapped at my dad. And yet at the same time, it was different because I was just like, wow, this is so childish and petty. And like, I'm just gonna walk away. Like, this is not an interaction that I want to continue. And it's interesting because I literally came upstairs and I instantly just was like, what? Why am I even judging this person when I'm in moments like that as well? And it immediately made me think like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that thing where it's like if they do something, then I do something. In exchange for them doing something, then I'll do something. And so having this experience and then sitting back and being like that, it also made me realize like that is why I was very avoidant for a lot of different situations when it came to being at home. I spent almost all of high school not being at home. And I don't know if other people can relate to that. It's like I genuinely spent like almost every day with somebody, with people. I created spaces outside of home that I could depend on. Yeah, there was levels of codependency, and it's so interesting to me because of that trait where I was like, okay, there are moments where I do that too, where I'm petty, where I've been petty at least. I've been petty and I've been making choices differently simply because I really started to question myself being around this very energetically intense experience for me. I felt a lot of love, and going from different environments where like there was already an established relationship present and I was not being reached out to. Was I reaching out? Was I doing these things? Was I like, you know, like all these things that have happened in these past like 2 years has been a lot of information. And it's just ironic because I'm like, am I really computing all this properly? Like, am I actually acknowledging and validating my experience? And so in this moment, I did. And I was like, I'm not going to choose to be avoidant of this situation. I'm also going to allow myself the space. I know how I'm feeling as long as I tap in, and I'm going to give myself that presence, processing myself so that I don't just project. Yes, I will speak up and say that I'm upset. It's also like, do I recognize the patterns here? Yeah. Why am I consistently trying to ask for help from people who do not help me? Like, like, one thing that was just said to me was releasing those expectations, which is so true. It's like, why am I going to hurt myself expecting something from someone who has consistently showed up in this way that hurts me? It hurts. Therefore, how am I continuing to perpetuate this pain? Like, if something bothers me, I have many options to choose from. I could speak up. I could have a conversation about this. I can open up the conversation at least, right? I could respond differently. I could release the externals within that situation and understand internally. Not letting things hit me so deep. Because it hits. And I'm like, ew. No, thank you. That is the level of like truly managing my presence and time. This physical being that represents the time that I've spent with her. And it's like, my body. This is my body. I'm very possessive of my body. And I really recognize that with just a simple understanding of the duality of receiving and protecting myself. She tells me that she doesn't like it. And it's like, why am I trying to make it make sense otherwise? You know what I mean? And especially being a feminine entity, it's like, and I identify with the feminine entity, it's still that simultaneous balance of understanding, like, there are very strong systems in place. And there's so many moments where I could be susceptible to losing my touch with myself, my inner feminine, fluid, friendly, fun, light side. The feminine is so free when she knows that she's safe. And that is the world that I create within me, with the acknowledgement that there are times where my environment doesn't feel safe. Safety and being uncomfortable. Discomfort is different. It's understanding that in this moment, this makes me so uncomfortable. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to calm myself down. I'm going to be here with myself. I'm going to experience my anger. I'm going to also redirect and alchemize this energy, because my energy is very precious, and I'm not even going to, like, honestly put it to waste in this direction. And it is kind of this level of respect where I'm understanding, like, it's not to say that in due part by me, like, acting upon this, it's not to say that they don't deserve my time. No, I simply do not have the space. That is not the space that I wish to cultivate for myself. I just heard these words of, like, don't be so hard on yourself. I was like, I'm trying. I'm really trying. Because that is such a freaking ironic contradiction of this whole journey of choices with myself, understanding how these conditionings that I'm not conscious of, that is what the importance of conditionings are, is that it can literally tap in to your unconscious ways of being. That state of being where you're not present. This isn't you, truly, in your safest form, where you accept yourself and love yourself, no matter how you show up. No matter how you show up, not to prove anything, not to be better, not to represent this facade of one of my values is respect. And it's so interesting because there's such a deep thing about that in like my culture, as I'm Korean and American as well, but like Korean. It's not about respect being earned. It's about being cordial with others, respecting others as they are, not what I create within my own cognizance, like the connectedness of everything. Such an interesting way of thinking. Like, I literally go back and forth so often where I'm just like, I'm not that hard on myself. And at the same time, I recognize moments where I am. And even as I'm like, okay, like, I need to give myself space. And I'm like, no, I feel ready to talk about this. I feel more ready than I ever could be. It's like choice is so... In this moment, I'm thinking of it in a way where it's very lucid. Interesting. It's like very interesting. A lot of interesting things are happening. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thanks for listening. I'm sending you guys so much love and support on your own spiritual journey.